Hey everybody, welcome back to another great show, The Future of TitanX. That is the first half of the show. The second half, we're going to talk about crypto, stock market, and Pulsechain markets, including the big Signum Oracle expected to launch later this week. And of course, the impact that will have on our big DeFi algorithmic stablecoin, PUSD ALGO, which is open at the moment for contributions. So you can get a 90% bonus. Links in the video description and on the banner that's scrolling at the bottom there of the video, so check that out. I've got a whole ton of videos on PUSD ALGO as well. Just type in PUSD ALGO on Hex Token channel and you'll find the whole series with the founder, Jacob. Now let's get into it. Big welcome from me, of course. Hope you guys are having a good day out there and get into the chat there, make it lively. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, hit the bell. If you haven't joined our strategy club, links in the video description, only $35 a month for some of the best intel around crypto. So getting on that one. All right, let's get into it. We're going to kick off with TitanX, of course. So let's do that. I hope you guys are enjoying yourself out there. Let's just pull in the data sheet here and go for gold. So here we go. So we've got TitanX at the moment, the future of TitanX. And of course, just an incredible DeFi 2.0 ecosystem moving into DeFi 3.0, pushing the boundaries of tokenomics and particularly hyperdeflation in crypto. So you're really in a leading edge ecosystem with TitanX. Of course, the founder is Jake Sharp, and of course, he's been across Pulsechain as well. Of course, is making his own ecosystem here on Ethereum and now moving Omnichain over to Basechain. So lots of things are happening with the TitanX ecosystem. Now, we're going to have a check out quite a few of the projects today. So let's get straight into it and have a look at where we are at the moment. So TitanX at the moment has got 98.35 trillion in circulating supply. That is broken down into 65.8 trillion liquid. Staked is 8 trillion. And I'm not expecting that to change very much now that it's dominated by DragonX and Helios. And of course, the BOT there is 24.5. And of course, we're expecting that to go up over time as well. So that's all the protocols built on top of TitanX, and you need TitanX to get in there. So that is 24.5 billion at the moment. So far, a massive 125.9 trillion TitanX has been burned. That's almost $42 million by today's prices. So it's pretty incredible where this is heading. So it hasn't quite reached, into my view, hyperdeflation, but definitely is deflating slowly and surely. And we expect that to ramp up in the weeks and months ahead of us for the home run, as we call it. So that's kind of where we are at the moment. Now, the buy and burn over here on TitanX is still sitting there. So let's give a quick look at that's kind of what we call the V1. And that is sitting at $11.8 million. So there's 4,451 ETH just sitting there. And no doubt Jake Sharp will utilize that when he thinks the best time is in the future. It's kind of acting as a DAO, collateral at the moment. But that buy and burn can be used in many different ways to lift the value of the TitanX ecosystem at any time. And obviously, waiting for Ethereum to have a big run in price. If Ethereum goes 3-4x from here, then that's $40-50 million, right? So let's see how that goes. And of course, that has a huge impact potentially on TitanX as well, either tactically or strategically over the long term. So that's kind of where we are there with TitanX. Now we're going to move over into the Omnichain version of TitanX, which is X28. Now, X28 is Omnichain. What do we mean by that? It means you get a one-to-one transform for TitanX to X28. X28 means that it can go onto multiple chains, but the Omnichain aspect is the fact that there's only one TitanX supply. There's not going to be multiple supplies over every single chain. So really, you're spreading the TitanX supply on Ethereum. You're distributing it over to other chains. So you're actually getting supply sinks or utilizing it over in other chains. So that's a really important differential, as opposed to launching TitanX multi-chain and launching on every single chain, doubling up the price, tripling up the supply. So it's not doing that. It's just spreading out the one existing supply over to other chains and then adding value through protocols and ecosystems on each and every chain that it goes to. The first chain, of course, is the Omnichain to Basechain. Basechain, of course, one of the top chains, and of course, a big meme chain as well. Now, TitanX, you can either transform it, TitanX over into X28. You can either do that here on the website through the transform, but there is or you can buy it on the market. And at the moment, there's a better deal on the market. So it's 3%, 3.2% better deal buying on the market on Ethereum. So it's better to transfer your X28 to your TitanX to X28 on the market. However, if you do that, you won't be burning any TitanX, right? So that's so from a personal benefit, it's going to benefit you. From a global benefit, it doesn't benefit TitanX because if you do transform TitanX through to X28 and create new supply of X28, then you are going to burn 50% of TitanX, and of course that gets rid of a lot of TitanX. And then of course the other 50% is going to go on the buy and burn, which is over here on the second tab, and of course that can be then used to buy and burn X28. So that's kind of the logic there. It's a very powerful mechanism that's going to play out in the future, especially as more demand goes to base chain and people need to transform their TitanX into X28 to go to base or any other chain that comes up in the future. So it's a very incredibly powerful mechanism for reducing the one single supply of TitanX. So that's going to be really impressive to see that. There's a couple of mechanisms to make that happen. New protocols on other chains, new protocols on Ethereum, getting the ratio on the market price greater than 1, maybe 1.03 or something like that. And of course, if that was the case, then it would be a better deal transforming through the transform here on the website, and it'd be positive 3% perhaps rather than negative 3% at the moment. So definitely a better deal there for an individual to buy on market at the moment. But once that gets into zero or positive territory, better for you and the better for the TitanX ecosystem when this is a positive number. So that's kind of the logic there. Now people can bridge over using layer 0 bridge technology, and it takes about a minute, I think, something like that. So from Ethereum to base chain, and you can send your X28 over to base chain once you've say transformed or got tight or you've bought X28 on the market with TitanX there. Remember, essentially X28 is just the multi-chain version of TitanX, so that's kind of the logic there. Now we're going to be getting into Uranus. Uranus, of course, is the first protocol to launch on base chain. It's the first omni-chain protocol to launch on base chain. Obviously, all the other projects are on, apart from X28, are on the Ethereum chain. So this is a big first mover, and we can see the details here on Uranus28.win. And we're going to check out the numbers today for that. So let's check out the chart. Chart looking pretty good, actually. So chart there is up at 6 zeros, 4,285. That is the price. Has a recent high. This is on the hourly chart. Recent high of 6 zeros, 4,490. So that's the current all-time high. But on the ratio to X28, which is probably important if you actually minted, there was an 8-day mint. And of course, we're currently 2 days and 7 hours since the launch of this token after the 8-day mint. And the mint there was 1-to-1, right? So the mint there was 1-to-1. You can see where the mint price is down here. That is the mint price. And we're now, and we started off at a discount to mint price. So there was an opportunity for people to pick it up. Someone big came along and picked that up and pumped it. And of course, went now into a premium there for people that minted. So if you minted down here, you're in the money on the X ratio. And because relative to TitanX itself or X28, you were also in the money on the price there. So a pretty good move so far. Now, I think the market price was at the time of the mint was somewhere around here. So down this level at 3,150. We're now at 4,285. So pretty good results there as well. Now, we're going to look at some of the updated stuff. Before we do that, let's see who else has jumped in the chat there. We've got Brian, our community leader. Good to see you, Brian. Hope you're doing well. And his sidekick, Hedgehog, there. Good to see you as well. Woo! Get excited for sure. And Craig Pitt in the house. Morning all. Good to see you, Craig, as always. And Wookie, one of our moderators. Come on, ETH. It must have a TDS. So, yeah, ETH there going up and down all the time, right? So that also impacts the TitanX X28 value as well. Now, this chart's looking pretty good. What is the key metrics for this chart? This is the first omni-chain project. This is created by the Dude and James out there, and the creators of Helios, Element 280, Baby Dragon, I think, as well, and a few other projects. So pretty awesome. Now, Uranus is going to have a lot of those projects on Ethereum in some form or the other. I think there's 3 or 4 projects coming over to base chain. They're going to have liquidity set up and paired with Uranus, from what I can tell, and that's going to increase the turnover volume, arguably, and activity. So we'll be looking forward to that as well. Now, let's look at some of the highlights after 2 days and 7 hours since Uranus, the first omni-chain project, is launched. Let's check that out. So it's got a buy-sell transfer tax of 12%, and these 2% protocol tax. 1% of that tax goes to burning. 0.5% goes to 0.5% goes to the Genesis wallet, and then 0.5% goes to the LP wallet to thicken up the LP. So that's the allocation at 2%. But there's also 10%, part of that 12% tax is 10% goes to the reflection. So if you're holding Uranus, you get 10% at reflection. Now, you guys know how well PDDC, the Grays, has done on Pulsechain. Absolutely smashing chart, one of the very best charts on Pulsechain. Well, this could potentially be repeated here. And so far, the early signs are looking pretty good. Had a bit of a slow negative start, but now is on the up and up and looking very positive. And the marketing is really starting to ramp up. They've also applying for CoinGecko and other listings as well. So it's really started to wrap up that promotion. And if it gets those listings, it's also going to help quite large. Could help with the pickup too on base chain, because as you guys know, a green chart does a lot of talking here. So the more green this is, the better. So that is pretty exciting. Starting supply results. So it started off with 554 billion minted. So that means 554 billion TitanX or X28 on base chain went into the mint. And then, of course, the product they ended up getting 554 billion Uranus. So it's a 1-to-1 ratio for the mint. The protocol then had to print 42% for the LP. And of course, 232 billion extra Uranus tokens were minted. Therefore, the total supply was 786 billion. Now, not all the LP was put into the LP. Probably about half of it. The other half, or just under half, is being kept for other LP projects. And of course, we've talked about a lot of that stuff coming over from the dude and James with their projects to match up with those LPs. So it's going to increase potentially the chance for MEV action, extra volume on a Uranus, and therefore more divs basically in this tax, and more volume to be taxed on, and therefore increasing all those benefits, especially the reflection token there to holders. So that's kind of the logic there. Now we've got a total volume of 786 billion. That was the starting volume, but the current buy and burn, it's also got a buy and burn. So not only does it have this taxes, but it has a big buy and burn, and that buy and burn at the moment is 14 billion. So 2 days and 7 hours already 14 billion has been bought up and burned, and it's set low as well. So that's pretty exciting. So we can actually go and have a look at the mechanisms there. We can still see that total X28 for buy and burn is still sitting at 85,700. So that's still pretty full, and the buy and burn pretty modest at $29. And of course, that can be called by whitelisted accounts as far as I understand. So that's kind of where we are there at the moment. So let's have a look. What does that mean? So we've got total supply was 786. We've got the buy and burn at 14 billion. That means the total supply at the moment is around about 773 billion has been burned there. Sorry, 773 billion is the current total supply. So that's pretty exciting to see. It's being burned pretty fast in 2 days, and 2 days and 7 hours. So obviously, the more volume that goes through it relative to the price, then the more you're going to get burned, and the more dividends you're going to get through those reflections, right? So let's go to reflections. The reflections at the moment that holders have got. Remember, the 10% of the buy, sell, or transfer tax goes to holder reflections. That is now 13.4 billion. So that's going along really, really nicely. That's 2.42% of volume return in 2 days. So if we put that 13.4 billion over to 554 billion that was minted, that's 2.42% volume return in 2 days. So on an annualized basis, that's 385% APR. That's pretty incredible, and that doesn't include the price appreciation that you may get, right? So very excited there with that. Now, obviously, this is a speculative project, so you have to take that into account, and getting volume is very important. But some of these catalysts that are coming up in the roadmap, for example, these other protocols from Ethereum coming over through the base chain, and of course pairing up with Uranus, and of course the increase in the promotions, and the increase in the adding to listing sites like CoinGecko, for example, could really boost this up. Particularly also if base users get onto this, because the chart is really starting to carry on, and people are starting to hear about it, and it starts to run away. So that's kind of some of the ideas there the upside could be very, very massive, couldn't it? So let's have a look at some of the pool protocol stats. The market cap around about $326,000 at the moment, and the liquidity 84K, and the volume about 13K over 24 hours. So those are some of the numbers there at the moment. And of course, they could really start to step up there as well. Now, those numbers will move around quite a bit, particularly in the early days. But of course, the more valuable the chain, the bigger, more value of the protocol. Those will all get priced up, right, as the market, values it up there. So that's kind of some of the key numbers there on Uranus, and the chart they're doing pretty well. Still very early days. And of course, if we go to the daily, you can see there's only a couple candles there. So we're only at the beginning. We moved to the 4-hourly chart. That's kind of where we are at the moment. So it's going to be interesting watching this at the moment. I see volumes just tick down a little bit there at $7,800. Obviously, depends on which volume candle we're taking into. So that's obviously rolled over there. Market cap still at 332. Liquidity still at 85. So it's pretty stable there. So those are some of the key numbers there on Uranus. And that leads us into Shogun. Let's see if we got any more comments in the chat there before I move on to the next one, though. We got Wookie says Uranus is very peachy, and I'd love to see some more action on Uranus, says Wookie. And let's pump it to the moon. Absolutely. So there's a lot of people feeling the same as you, Wookie, for sure. Now, let's get into Shogun. Big news, breaking news here. Shogun is going omni-chain. So Shogun, of course, is a protocol launched by Jake Sharp, the founder of TitanX X28. And Shogun is going omni-chain. So that would mean that some of the supply of Shogun is going to go over to the base chain. But what is going to be set up over there, that is the question, right? So obviously some sort of LP pool, but what activity, what sort of protocol could be set up with Shogun there to add extra value? So this could be absolutely ballistic for Shogun. Now, looking at the Shogun supply, about 16.8% has been burned. It's 83% circulating. There's only 2.3 billion tokens in supply, $4.6 million worth. Liquid is 1.8 billion. Liquidity is 400 million, I should say. And sorry, 1.8 billion for liquid, 400 million for liquidity, and the war chest there, 82.5 million. Now, the thing we're going to say about this has two pump mentals. Obviously, it has a buy and burn. The buy and burn at the moment, 141K on the Shogun buy and burn. And of course, the buy with X28 is at 21,000. So you got that buy and burn, but then you got the auctions. The auctions keep feeding those buy and burns, which is pretty awesome. So you got the auction, perpetual auctions, and the buy and burns ticking away there at the moment. And of course, you have trading tax of 8% as well. So that also feeds it, as well as any benefit to the LP as well, getting some benefit of fees, right? So those are all keeping this going. And then you could imagine going omni-chain with this. Well, we're going about to go next level, right? A more use case as well. So that's pretty exciting to see that. So it's big news there. Shogun going omni-chain, and that might put a lot of pressure there on the Shogun price. Now, let's have a quick look at the Shogun price. While we're here, let's go to the daily, shall we? And have a look at that. We're going to log that chart. And at the moment, that is the chart there. What happened there? Auto log. Let me auto that. So that is the chart there. Oh, it's gone all defaulted there. That is the chart there on the daily. So obviously, it's been kind of in this range at the moment. And we're currently at 1.7 of a penny. But let's have a look at the X28 ratio. That's kind of the main one I look at. And we're currently sitting at 5,600. So we're kind of been in this range here at the moment. But I think probably with it going omni-chain, that's probably going to make it go pretty ballistic. And of course, it's also based on X28, right? So X28 starts running / TitanX. That all starts running up as well. Now, we do know we got a bit of a pullback in ETH today. So that's definitely dampened down the green sentiment we had yesterday where TitanX was going up, right? So a bit of volatility in the system and still trying to find that floor price as well for TitanX. Now, if we go quickly to TitanX, which / X28, we can see the ratio there. I'm going to look at that versus ETH. So that is the US dollar price. You can sort of see we found a floor there, kind of moving sideways. We certainly don't want to, go down again, but we're holding on there to 603,300. We're now at 603,300 on the price, and that's with ETH coming down a little bit there. But the ETH ratio is what I'm really looking at, and at the moment, this is still holding up at 9/0/1250. So we're kind of in the middle there, moving sideways. And of course, we want to get that wave 3 next, right? Wave 3 next up this consolidation. So obviously, there's a lot of stuff coming up for the future of TitanX, and we're going to talk about that. But before we do that, we're just going through some of the key protocols which represent some of that future So that's Shogun going omni-chain, big deal there, and probably get some good movements there. The other thing about it is Hyper, of course, is coming up. Hyper is largely minted out, and so we're expecting potentially some big moves here with the Hyper buy and burn still sitting at $1,760,000. There's 5.3 trillion TitanX sitting in there to help pump this project as well. And the stats there, so that 1.25 million, we got 3.5 million in liquid supply, and it's largely out last time I checked. So obviously there are people that stake. There may be some stake stuff coming out, but apart from that, we've got a pretty good damn ratio if that wants to start pumping and ramping up the old buy and burn. So that's going to be something we're going to be looking forward to there as well. That could be stepped up anytime. And of course, there's a little bit of money in the vortex as well, and there 108K as well. So that's pretty exciting. We're expecting this to add value. All these dials, these buy and burns can all be turned up and help pump the whole system into a wave 3, as well as new protocols launching. So how Jake and Eric will do that timing is still another question. Now, obviously, something I haven't talked about is DragonX, but DragonX is still sitting on, a decent little amount of ETH. So it's still got a decent little amount of ETH there. I'm not sure if it shows up on this page, but it's still got a little decent amount of ETH there. I'm not sure where that, been a while since I've been on this page. I think it's in the DAO. And so, yeah, there's currently, what's there, 163 ETH in there, $1.5 million of ETH there, TitanX buy and stake balance. And there's 463 buy and burn balance. So that's the one we're really looking at there, $1.5 million of ETH sitting there. Vote is coming soon for that. So you see all these buy and burns, pretty fat and juicy, just ready to ramp them up, and you can get these charts going ballistic. But of course, you also want ETH to start rallying. That's the other thing. So we'll see when Jake and Eric decide to turn that on. They may wait for that ETH trigger as well. So they've obviously got their own roadmap, but we're also going to wait for that ETH trigger. It may happen after the roadmap launches. We shall see, and they'll let the market kind of push the chart up. So they could turn it on intermittently as well, just to get things moving along. So we'll see if they do that. Now, Hydra 2, largely the minting's out as well on Hydra. Of course, it's built on DragonX, the other one on TitanX. And we're sitting at liquid 7.25 trillion Hydra, $1.6 million. The buy and burn has got $936,000. So that's pretty good. 385 billion DragonX. So that is what, 936K over 1.6 million. So Hydra looking very, very good indeed. And of course, no staking there. So this could be pretty powerful, turning on the dials. So you can see all these dials that Eric and Jake have got control of all can be turned on. So it's pretty powerful stuff. And of course, that ratio is very attractive for pushing up prices on the DEX screener. So going to be pretty amazing. It could happen so fast that people really get caught off guard there. And of course, over the last this little downtrend that we've had, got rid of a lot of weekends, a lot of large whale weekends. So you really got a lot of believers left in the market as well. So there's kind of that sentiment there. Now moving on to another big project is Vault. Vault has got a really massive roadmap, and of course, the mad scientist Stevie D is looking to push not just DeFi 2.0, but into DeFi 3.0, leading the way, I would say, globally on DeFi tokenomics, particularly ROI protocols. The guy is a mad genius, and it's great to be able to participate in something so frontier. But at the moment, Vault is at 44.74% burned, going really nice. There is now only 580 million Vault left. That is such a low supply. The Vault treasury balance has got 9 million in it. But of course, if you're familiar with Vault, it has a big LP wallet sitting with about 7.5% of the volume in there. And of course, that gets used to top up the Vault balance here. And of course, the Vault balance ends up filling up the buy and burn balance as well, right? As well as the treasury balance. So that's pretty awesome. There's still $38,500 in here, 115 billion TitanX, spending about 5 million of buy pressure every day. And of course, burning that as well. So, that's adding a big amount there. And of course, we go down to Vault chart. We can see that at the moment. And of course, it's always good to look at the ratio. Whenever you got second layer protocols on top of TitanX or X28, you look at the ratio to see how it's performing relative to the medium of exchange. And at the moment, we're at 0.3 of a penny. It had, obviously, this is one of the lucky ones, got picked up by the market, obviously got good listings on CoinGecko and stuff. by Stevie D, and it absolutely rallied up to $5 million in volume. So it was pretty powerful. I do believe it's going to have its second day in the sun, as of course all this roadmap and burning goes on. And of course, when TitanX starts going on its big third rally, this is going to be an absolutely boomer, the old vault. So at the moment, you can see the ratio is holding up very strong on the ratio here. You can sort of see that. So let's log this, and you can see the ratio is actually doing pretty well. 9,169 recently, been as high as 9,700. And there's a little bit of an uptrend in there. But once this breaks, this 10,000 mark, it's really going to start running away. Now, what will help it run away, not just TitanX and X28 booming, but also the roadmap. So Ouroboros, the big lending platforms, are going to put up Volt as one of the early candidates for collateral, potentially after Ethereum and RRX. And of course, that's big news. So that could be a big supply thing and put extra demand on Volt. We've already seen that with some of the other tokens going into Volt. Going into Ouroboros lending platform. And then the other one, of course, is a Thunder Volt staking is coming as well. So another supply sink and potentially another reason to demand there on Volt. And remember, Volt's burning away at something like 800,000 a day last time I checked, about 4 or 5 days ago. And so that's a really, really big burn. And then on top of this, we've got Bitcoin Genie coming, of course, the frontier of DeFi 3.0. And of course, Stevie D has gone mad over that. He's saying it's going to be the best of the best. Some of the features are very innovative. And of course, he's focused from the buy side and sustainability side of the project. So that's going to be fun to see that play out. And of course, using Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stuff as collateral. So keep a lookout for that, because that's going to be absolute boomer. That's going to feed back through into Volt. And of course, it's also going to feed back into TitanX, adding extra value there. So we're really excited about where that's heading. And of course, more utilities coming in 2025 from Stevie D. So this is going to be pretty exciting for the old Volt there. And of course, the roadmap's looking bright there. Now, what omni-chain views does Stevie D have? And of course, sure, he's going to go omni-chain as well. But he's got such a thick book roadmap there. It's going to be pretty interesting to see good old Volt have a good run and get back to its former glory there. It's going to be pretty exciting. Now, you always want to buy low and sell high, right? So you're in the zone of buying low at the moment. That's kind of a good place. Now, that is Volt. Now, we're going to get to Titan Farms. This is also from DragonX founder Eric. And of course, this is an absolute game changer. We talked about Ouroboros, which we're going to talk about next with the lending. We talked about Element 280, which was the big buyer, and we've had other mechanisms like that come to market, but from the dude. But here we are with Titan Farms, and this is going to be pretty exciting. So it's currently at 7 cents, and it won't take much to start getting this rallying back up as well. And the yields have been pretty exciting. We've got Tink TitanX at 82%, 72% on X28 Tink. So once we get into hyper-deflationary mode, once we get back into that wave 3, once we get all these projects launching, once the Omni-chain on Base and other chains starts incrementally adding value, this is all going to start running away pretty fast. And so pretty exciting. Now, we know that for Titan Farms, they're going to be going over to Base Chain, expected to launch on Pulsechain. And we're also expecting Brandon's Morpheus to be also potentially launching at the V3 DEX over on Base Chain and Pulsechain. And so we'll have DEXs and farms, and it's going to be pretty exciting as well to see all that ramp up, right? And that would probably include some aggregators as well. So adding a lot of value onto the old Base Chain with revolutionary DeFi 3.0 tokenomics. Titan Farm really is a leader in farm tokenomics. And of course, all the fees get to target and burn Tink and any other token they want to target there. So it's pretty exciting. And of course, they dominate a lot of the farms there within the TitanX ecosystem. Pretty exciting. So that's some of the big stuff there. We saw recently USDC, USDX obviously get launched. So we're going to be watching this as we go forward as well. So let's quickly go to Ouroboros and let's quickly check that out, because Ouroboros, of course, have been around for about, 5 days? I think it is 5 days. So we're going to have a look at this, and let's go down to Ouroboros on the chart and have a quick look at that. So let's have a look. So obviously this ORX is the main platform token. And then, of course, USDX is the stable coin. So people can put in TitanX or DragonX as collateral and issue USDX. Now, ORX itself is coming up to be going on to collateral. Now, that could be an absolute boom for that. So at the moment, we're sitting at 99.27 cents. So just below the $1 peg, but pretty close to it on the old chart. And of course, RX, which is the platform token. Let's have a quick look at that. that is currently sitting at 4.17 cents. And of course, it's had a pretty big rally recently, up to like 10 cents, even got as high as 12 cents. And of course, a lot of people there probably selling into either going to the farms or selling into going to Ouroboros through getting back to TitanX, collateralizing that, taking their profits, and then getting into that really super high yield and stablecoins. So there's a couple of strategies people may have taken there on the sell-off there, and maybe some speculators as well. So at the moment, 4.17 cents. So a pretty good entry price there for the old ORX. And so ORX may very well become another third collateral. So we're going to be looking out for that, and therefore that'd put extra demand back on the old RX there. Now, RX versus TitanX, we can see that chart is now 124,000 TitanX per RX there at the moment. And of course, it has been recently a high of 277,000 there at the moment, on a recent high for RX ratio to TitanX. Now, what do we got here is the numbers. Let's have a quick look out. So we're at 1.836 million. This is fantastic. So we're up another 300,000 plus today. So yeah, about $300,000, give or take, 10,000. So we're up another 300,000. Yesterday we're up 500,000. Today we're up 300,000. So this is going up very, very nicely. Still on TitanX and DragonX too. So that's really cool. Issued debt is $824,000. So we're heading towards that $1 million mark. Pretty impressive. And of course, let's have a look at the collateral. We've got 3.6 trillion TitanX and 257 billion DragonX. The DragonX has absolutely jumped up big time here. And so that's pretty huge. So we've got $1.21 million of TitanX collateral, 3.6 trillion TitanX. That's so good. And we've also got $634,000 or 257 billion DragonX. Now, if we add that 3.6 trillion TitanX to the RX minter, which has got 4 trillion in it, you're talking about 7.6 trillion TitanX has gone into this platform so far. 7.6 trillion. Remember, there's only 98 and just under 98.5 trillion. So that's pretty impressive numbers there. Pretty cool. So that is some of the cool stuff there. Now, the backstop pool, we've gone below 70% here, 54.7%. That's a percentage of USDX or stablecoin available for liquidations, which is pretty interesting. Now, if you want to mint, of course, USDX, you come here and you either pick some of the collaterals, TitanX or DragonX. Like I say, they haven't got RX yet, but as I understand it, that is coming up for the vote. I'm not sure if that's on the governance table. Let's have a look, see if that shows up. Not sure. This is when you're going into territory here that you're not, as you haven't checked for the live stream there. So we've got collateral proposal wrapped ether. I'm not sure what happened to that, but I think that may have gone ahead 2 days ago. It looks like that's gone ahead. Allocate final RX inflationary pressures. No, I don't see it actually here. Proposals. They got anything here? No, not that I can see. So that's pretty much it on that one. We'll get back out of there, but we are expecting RX to come up and Volt as well. Those are the two front runners, as well as along with ETH, I guess. So we'll be looking for more collateral options at the moment. There's DragonX and TitanX. So if they're already doing 1.8 million in collateral, and of course that's going up every day, imagine what's going to happen with the adding extra collaterals, particularly some of those bigger projects there. Excited about that. So far, Super Shadowy, the founder there, has been doing everything just right. So he knows what he's doing, and he's just rolling us out step by step by step. So it's pretty exciting now. So it's pretty cool on the US Minter. Now, liquidations there, as I understand, I think there's only been one. So I'm not aware of any more. Yeah, this looks pretty similar to yesterday. Let me know if the chat if there has been more than one, but that's it. And then redemptions, I still don't know when they're opening up. Remember on Power City, I think it was like 6 weeks after it launched. So that's probably not for a little while yet, is my guess there. What else we can say? USDX staking, that's down at 584%. So it's at that down. I think it was 80% yesterday. I think I'm just remembering. So it might have gone down 100. But 100% there. So it's at 784% APR per year. APR. So that's like a flat interest there. 784%. Pretty amazing, right? Pretty amazing. Yeah, USDX there. No doubt more capital is going to flow into this, right? For the big boys and girls out there. It seems like a no-brainer there. RX staking. I'm not sure what the yield is on this. So let me know in the chat there if you do know. But of course, we go to the RX minter there. We can see some of the supply metrics. Yeah, we've got 4 trillion TitanX in the buy and burn. We've got the minted numbers there, which is 50 million. ORX vested there, 529 million. And what else we got there? Total max future RX supply is going to be 778 million, and it looks like almost 15 million has been forfeited there. So that's some of the key metrics. So they've got vested RX, got drip RX, and onboarding there. Now I do believe some of the RX that has been sold down is from like the ETH people when they originally put up for RX to go up. It was ETH, and that was short-lived. And I think that some of the people probably have been selling as well, as opposed to the TitanX people that went to get themselves some RX minting there. So that's kind of the highlights there. See if we've got any comments on that. Come on, Volt, says Wookie. And what else we got there? I think this Ouroboros will do well, says Wookie. Yeah, Wookie is using it, so you just got to keep a high percentage. That says Wookie. Yeah, on the collateral he's talking about. Yeah, probably over 250% or something like that. That's a pretty good number. 350% for safety. But once again, there's all the docs there. You can read all the docs about it as well. So that is Ouroboros, and we're going to keep a look at that. That is growing very nicely indeed. So I'm really liking where that's going, and it could really start to open up and accelerate if it takes in Volt, takes in ROX itself, and of course Ethereum as well. So expanding the collateral range, and then options for people to borrow USDX, either put it in the platform, put it in Titan Farms, or go and buy some of more of the TitanX ecosystem tokens, I guess. And of course, we'll look to see other users outside TitanX also using it. Pretty exciting. Like I said, looking forward to the future of TitanX. We're looking forward to Bitcoin Genie coming for Vault. We're looking forward to Taurus coming as well from Cryptographics. Those are particularly going to have pretty extractive looking tokenomics. There's many other good projects on the list here as well that are going to be coming up in the future. I know that that Flare is starting to get pretty close, I think. So we're going to have lots of projects coming to market. The other thing, of course, is Jake Shah is looking to move to Omnichain. Looks like Shogun's going there. And of course, he's talked about AI agents, but not just the basic stuff that you see out there in the market, which dominates, but actually very clever AI agents, whether that's LP webbing or some other form of perpetual buying. We're going to wait and see what magic he comes up with there with the AI agent. So looking forward to that. And of course, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, we're going to have dexes and farms and aggregators potentially, AI agents going to base chain and then other chains as well. And of course, that means the TitanX supply will go down, move into that hyperdeflationary range, and the TitanX users will go up, /X28 users go up as well. We're pretty close to 20,000 here. So pretty exciting where that all goes. And like I say, if we get a little bit of action on the old Tink farm, extra projects using Tink, that could really start to accelerate Tink as well. So we've got hyperdeflation improving the values of TitanX and X28. We've got the buy and burns all getting turned on, turn them all on. And then we've got all this big roadmap happening, expanding the number of users, the Ethereum price going on a rally, a base price going on a rally. Really things start to turn on there. And of course, the Tink farms get more valuable. And, it's game on, right? Game on as well. And then we get lots more. If we get a lot more LP webbing, we got a lot more bots, MEV bots operating, giving us free volume, free money to invest back in the system. It really is a pretty clever system there as well. Brennan says, Howdy Super Cash Patel is underway. Yeah, I saw that actually before the live stream on that one. All right, for the FBI director. So that's kind of where we are there on the old TitanX. The future is looking pretty bright. And of course, we know that Jake Sharp's been pretty busy. Eric's been pretty busy. They've been relatively quiet, or they've been back on Telegram the last 24 hours. So definitely they're coming out from all their work they've been doing. So things are getting pretty close for sure. All right, so that is pretty much our TitanX coverage, the future of TitanX. So we did that in, 39 minutes? Not too bad. Not too bad there. Now we're going to get into our second half of the show, crypto and Pulsechain market updates. It's going to be pretty cool. Oh, and I've got some big updates coming up for the Pulsechain one. So I hope you guys enjoy this coverage too. Let's get into it. So we're going to talk about Signum Oracle and stuff. Before we do that, though, let's kick it off with the stock market. And let's get there as well. Now, I hope you guys have also been enjoying our global politics series. And I've been enjoying it. It's been a bit of fun. Lots of cool topics to talk about for sure. Let's check it out on the old stock market. So stock market there, this is results for Tuesday. S&P 500 notched up from fresh records on dip buying into the close. That was pretty nice. We've got the Dow Jones pretty flat at up 10 points, 44,556. The S&P 500 up 0.25%, 15 points to 6,129, and the Nasdaq up very slightly, 15 points to 20,041. So just a a little update there on the stock market there. Not bad at all. All right, so let's have a look at the commodities because this is something where Trump's going to be working on is the oil prices. So we are expecting oil prices to go down over time for different reasons, either negotiating with OPEC or at least Saudi Arabia to increase production and lower the oil prices, or potentially as a side tactic for Russian negotiations in the Ukraine, or B, just the massive ramp up of production in the United States of oil there. Remember, oil wasn't allowed to be exported until 2015. Can you believe the United States took a long time to be able to export that? So that's the case. Now, obviously, another area, of course, they've got so much oil, bigger than Saudi Arabia, also up in the north in Alaska and Anwar there and other places. So, check out some of the video. I did a video on oil and gas exploration there for Trump. So it's pretty big. Now, we got West Texas at 71.73 and Brent oil there at $75 now. Obviously, we're still enjoying our summer here down under New Zealand, Australia, Pacific. But of course, for your summer coming up in a few months' time, you're going to definitely want cheaper gas at the pump. Fortunately, you've had a pretty strong exchange rate at the moment over in the US. So the exchange rate's sitting at 107, and of course, you've also oil's come down a little bit there. So hopefully, that's easing off. And under Trump, that may get quite dramatically cheaper. Just like in his first term that he had as well. Now, gold there is $2,953. And, of course, how's that going towards all-time highs? Well, on the old gold, let's have a look. Yes, pretty much at all-time highs. So heading towards $3,000 for gold. Can you believe it? Silver at the moment, $33.42. And I think silver's going to have a big run, expecting $75 and beyond, maybe up to $125. And that would accelerate if the US dollar does devalue. Obviously, the US dollar has been strengthening under Trump, but that'd be pretty powerful. So keep a lookout for that. So if you got silver out there, could be mad gains. Now, BTC at the moment, moving to crypto, $95,500, down 0.5% at the moment, and Bitcoin dominance at 59%. So we've got a bit stronger there on the old Bitcoin dominance. Looking at Ethereum was having a good day yesterday, even though Bitcoin was down a little bit. Ethereum was actually up, while Ethereum's just retraced a little bit again today, so quite volatile. And down 3% at $2,667. That's obviously pulled down DragonX a bit there too, and the rest of the market. BNB down 3%, $646. Solana down 5% there, $168. ADA down 6.5% as well at 75 cents. We do have some green candles there for Tron. That's up slightly, 23.9 cents. And Litecoin making a nice move, up 5%, $129. Not sure what's driving that in particular, but that's up. The other one, of course, is XRP down 3.6% at $2.56. We are expecting a lot of capital flows into crypto in the months ahead. Obviously, we've had a little bit of drama, around the Trump token, a little bit of drama around the Libra token there. But apart from that, we're expecting some good moves. Now, looking at the Bitcoin chart on the hourly, you can sort of see we had this big sell-off from 96,700, got all the way down to 93,344, but we have rebounded back to 95,367. So volatility is definitely in the markets at the moment. Now we are expecting, February to be green, right? It's all about moving towards altcoin season. Some people are doubting altcoin season, but you always get that in the market, right? That's what happens. That's why they do this volatility, and they do these little bear traps to get you psyched out, and you get you psyched out, sell your bags for cheap. They pick them up. At the moment though, we're kind of moving sideways in this channel. We've had very good support on Bitcoin at 92,000. You can see that along the bottom here, and so far so good. But of course, we haven't had our super green month for February yet, which we typically do, right? We've only had 2 negative months. Let's go have a look at the Bitcoin returns so far. Well, January we had 9.3% green, of course, but February it's negative 8.6%. So we're actually up the high at the moment, just about. So negative. Can that turn green for the rest of the month? Obviously, it's the 18th, 19th of February, and so we've still got another 7 days, a week left to turn that number green. So it's crypto can do it. So let's keep a look out for that. In any case, we've got March ahead of us, and of course that's been pretty green the last 4 or 5 years, and of course April after that. So I'm expecting some pretty good stuff to happen in March, April, May, and June, right? So we've heard a lot of rumors on the ground about big capital coming in, so no change there. Also expecting to get more from Trump around Bitcoin strategic reserve and more crypto-specific, policies coming up. They're still rolling them out, right? Still rolling them out. It's only been 3 weeks of Trump, so expect all that sort of stuff to keep coming. That's kind of where we are at the moment. Let's go over to the Ethereum and have a quick look at that. Oh, actually, did I delete it? I must have. Oh no, I didn't. Here it is over here. So we'll go find the Ethereum chart. This is the one on the hourly, and of course we bounced off. We start off there. We start off at 2,700. Went down to 2,600. We're back at 2,666. There we go. But let's have a look at the daily on Ethereum, and let's check this out. Now, Ethereum has a lot of institutional support. So we'll have it stay in the sun. That's my thesis there. And of course, we have got a death cross at the moment, so it's definitely looking weaker. We'll really need Bitcoin to break out again over 100K and have its rally, right? So it still needs to have that. Heading towards 150 is my target for Bitcoin by end of March, early April. That's kind of the play there. All right, so that is where we are. Still chilling. It's having a lot of doors slam for some reason. Must be the wind. So let's quickly go into Pulsechain, day 648. Pulse at the moment, quadruple 0453, down 0.7%. So super cheap to still pick up Pulse. Pulsex at the moment, down 0.5% at quadruple 0371, still sitting at 37% of the main sacrifice price. So Pulse and Pulsex still super cheap, despite some of the fundamentals we've had. Obviously, we've had the INC token, which we're going to talk about next as well. But buy and burn at 1.27 trillion. 6.41% of all Pulsex has been bought up and burned so far. So INC $2.52 is up just slightly there, 0.14%, 55,650 Pulse per one incentive at the moment, about 55,000 in supply. We're not expecting a lot of growth in that now because the inflation for incentive is only 5% of what it was. It's down, been cut 20x. So that's kind of where we are there on that. But what happens is that we've seen about 40% or so of the capital leave the Pulsex V1 farms, and therefore that's thinned out the liquidity, and therefore it's easier to pump up or down. And of course, it's in a V2 structure, so it goes up and down as a square, and of course it's got heart law as well. We've also seen pump.tires launch, and of course that is burning a lot more Pulse and arguably a lot more Pulsex volume as well, has increased the Pulsex volume along a lot, so it's burning a lot more Pulsex, and we've seen quite a nice little lift there in the buy and burn. Hex at the moment, 1.34 cents, down 3%. EHEX at 3,600 of a penny. EHEX holding up okay, actually. The combined price of EHEX and PX at 1.7 cents. And of course, with the thinner out liquidity and Hex being relatively thinner than the others, Richard Hart tokens, that Hex is going to have a great day in the sun when it finally moves and breaks really away from that sort of 3.2 cents range above there. It's really going to have a lovely run. And people are going to enjoy it. That's pretty much it. Let's go to some of the other stuff there. Gas prices on the old Pulsechain. Let's see there. 2 million beats, 3 cents from Pulsex. Definitely more valuable chain, isn't it? The old Pulsex there. 46,300 validators, so that's pretty steady as well. And finally, we're going to check out the bridge. We're sitting at 122 million yesterday. We're down probably about 2 million today. 120.3 million on the bridge there at the moment. And as you guys know, we're going to the stable coins because we're going to talk about that next. But we've got about 7.4 million stablecoin USDL. These are native to Pulsechain. Liquidity fork backed by Pulse, $7.4 million there. PXDC, $1.33 million there, backed by Pulsex. And then HexDC, another liquidity fork, just under $700,000 backed by Hex. So those three there are making a big contribution. But a lot of it's stuck on the liquidity platforms earning yield, right? A lot of it is stuck on there rather than being leveraged and moved around. Coast there backed by Fiat, so $8.3 million. That's going up nicely. That's sort of tricking up there. I guess it's not going to be maybe a few months before it gets to 10 million maybe. But if the right sentiment can advance pretty quickly. And of course, that's the Fiat on-ramp to Pulsechain now. Now, as you guys know, I'm a big believer of PUSD ALGO, the algorithmic coin. And I think it's probably going to be the best algorithmic coin, the first one to really, truly be done right. And of course, it's going to solve an issue with the stablecoin trilemma that are not solved by these liquidity forks or Coast. And that is scalability because of the ticker ALGO there. And of course, we're looking forward to that. I've got an update today on that one, so it's coming up. We've got the total volume at the moment, 25 million. So it's definitely come down the last couple of days, but still decent, 25. But we were enjoying, 55 million, 80 million. We even got for a while there when Pump Tires was up there, we were up over 120, 140 million, remember? But 25 still a decent whack there. Certainly the minimum really we want to see at this stage of the cycle. Transactions 266,000. That's where we're at the moment. Now let's have a look at some of the best performers on trending the last 6 hours. And of course, we're going to kind of ignore some of the pump.tires, although they're kind of valid in their own right, but they're speculative. We're going to go to remember. This one here is up, been around for 3 months or a year here. It's got different pulls. That's up about 38% today. Just come out of nowhere there. Let's see what else is going around here. We've got Neon is around. We've got quite a few tokens that have been around for a while and just suddenly getting pumped. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Maybe people playing some silly games. We're up 90% at the moment, or maybe they just got randomly pumped. Let's scroll down a bit further here. Dominance been around for a month. That's up 14%. ALGO, of course, been around related to Hex. That's up 30%. What else has been around for a bit of a while? Investors have been up in the top list for quite a while the last week, and that's up 10% as well. UFO, which is related to PDDC, that is up 5%. And of course, we'll talk about pump tires. This is the main token for pump tires, along with most wanted, probably those two are the bigger ones, and that's up 5% as well. Most wanted, of course, from pump tires up 11%. What else there? Let's go up X token. So this is related to liquid loans, if I remember rightly. This is up 2%. So we've got a little gains there at the moment on the old Pulsechain, given the lower volume. There's a bit of movement there. Now the big news. Shall we get the big news? Should we get the big news there? We'll do that. Now let's see who else we got. Brennan says Trump doesn't like itchy electric heaters, says Brennan. USDT dominance is up. We need it to retrace soon, says Brennan. And Wookie says Super is under attack. Really? What attacked? Oh, yes, the doors are slamming. Yeah, that was pretty weird. Now it's probably just wind. Wind, lifting up there. Now let's have a look at the big news here. Signum Oracle. It's coming. Pulsechain doesn't have an Oracle. Signum Oracle is coming and expected this week. Dun, 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 dun. Finally. Liquid loans with over $50 million. I think it was like $52 million. They couldn't get it up and running for some reason. Who knows why? And of course, but now Signum Oracle's doing it. So thank goodness for that. It's very, very, very awesome. So good to see. Now, as you guys know, I was a big supporter of liquid loans. But when you got $52 million and then you just disappear, liquid loans has obviously performed pretty well for the project and had decent marketing. But then they just dropped the Oracle. That's just crazy. And Pulsechain is a key piece of infrastructure for Pulsechain. But Signum Oracle is coming to the rescue. Yay! So that's really good news. And I'm hoping to have an interview with the founder when this goes live with what they call Oracle reporting. So people feeding the information through to the Oracle there. Now, what's the Oracle going to do? It's going to provide price information, non-price information, and potentially tools like RNG, random number generators, things like that. Now, at what scale that gets ramped up, in terms of the spread of information, I'm not sure, but hopefully we're going to have an interview with the Signum Oracle founder there after it launches with reporting. Now, this probably would have launched already, but unfortunately the team, whatever the team is, they got ill, and of course, obviously had some sort of flu rage over there, but they're back, and we're still expecting the Signum Oracle to launch later this week. So we'll try and have an interview, have had agreement about that. So hopefully we'll move on and talk about that. So at the moment it is on testnet, playing around there, but we're looking forward to it and go live, right, with Oracle reporting. Now, to be an Oracle reporter, you can earn money doing that, right? So that's going to be another form of income opportunity for Signum Oracle. So it's something that will suit you. That would be something, I think you probably have to have a dedicated computer or something up for it, but that is definitely an option for making some money. All right, so we will still see. We're going to look at that later this week, but a big deal. It's a key piece of infrastructure, not only for all the developers, but for it's going to be pretty important for Jacob, of course, one of the best peer-to-peer devs in the world doing PUSD algo. Remember, this helps solve the scalability. Could be the first true DeFi solution with stability miners being at the heart of it, and of course they're going to be full DeFi, not like Terra Luna, which had all the centralized, Duquan doing all this manipulation. And of course, having some bad tokenomics with the minting and redemption. Also having problems with collateral, buying Bitcoin and collateralizing with that. And of course, offering with Anchor, offering 20% yield too high. And of course, making that sort of fall over there. But that scaled up to tens of billions of dollars. Who knows what PUSD algo could do on the old Pulsechain. Of course, it needs that Signum Oracle, needs an Oracle on Pulsechain So that's a key enabler there. Now, we know from Jacob, based on the 17th of January, I think it was, in Telegram, he said that once Signum is up and running, he will see if it's running as expected. I do not know how long what he means by that. Does he mean 1 week of operation? Does he mean 3 weeks of operation? Is all the data coming through as expected? Is a random number generator there, price feeds, things like that? So we'll see what that exactly means. But he's going to, after there's running as expected, he is going to publish the updated roadmap / plan. Plan was the exact word he used, plan. Let's say roadmap for PUSD ALGO as well. So at the moment, it's an open-ended sacrifice / contribution. Now, this is not like other sacrifices or contributions. This is up to 75% is going to go into our peoples on day one. So there's no $50 million, and a lot of it goes off to Hawaii or somewhere, wherever it's gone. But it's going to be going back into PUSD ALGO here. So it's going to be pretty big deal that all the capital gets used. And that's what people want, right? People want to support things that are going to be successful, but also support things that use the capital wisely and efficiently. So it's going to be pretty awesome. Now, there are 2 bonuses you can get to participate. There's 90% referral bonus. The link's in the video description and on that banner there. And of course, you do have to be patient with Jacob. It's probably the one area that he needs to, hopefully progress on. But of course, he has been hamstrung by an oracle, so he does need that to enable this project. So we're very excited about that. That is something we're going to be looking forward to as well. Now, I'm hoping to have Jacob on the channel to talk about that plan once it comes out, and he's ticked the thumb on that in Telegram as well. So we hopefully have 2 really big interviews coming up around oracles and around PUSD ALGO, and that's going to be pretty important. Now, will PUSD ALGO be integrated into the wider Jacob ecosystem, like Mafia? Makes sense to me. In some way, you can do it indirectly or directly, and of course, maybe with the casinos as well. Could be pretty awesome. Now, remember, Jacob is pretty much the #1 world's peer-to-peer best dev out there, and of course, pushing GameFi, metaverses, and DeFi really is a pusher there. One of our best devs, not only on Pulsechain but in the world. So we're very lucky to have him and his team there as well. Now, you can get 90% referral bonus today using the link in the video description. You're winning straight away. That's what you want to do in crypto. Secondly, if you do about $840 plus the referral bonus, that will get to $1,000. Once you get to $1,000 inclusive of the referral bonus, you trigger the second bonus, which is the bonus X. That's up to 2x. You get a random number up to 2x, between 1.01 and 2x times more volume. That would be massive if you get that, right? So we'll have a quick look at what I mean by that. We're going to go to page 5 or so, maybe page 6. We can see this guy here. He did $1,000. He qualified for the second bonus, the bonus X. He ended up getting a random number of 1.54, so he got 54% more. And he ended up with $1,570. And therefore, every dollar that he got with that, he ends up getting 20 ALGO, 200 Flex, and Wrap PUSD, which is the reward version of the stablecoin. And of course, this person up here, however, used a 90% referral code. So the link's in the video description for that. So they're already winning straight away. So they must have done about $140, $150. They ended up getting just over $1,000 inclusive of that referral bonus. So they got $1,026. But then, of course, that qualified them once they got to $1,000 for the second bonus, which is the bonus X. You can see bonus X up the top here. And they ended up getting $1,888. So they may have contributed or sacrificed $840, but they ended up getting $1,900 credited to them. And for every dollar, they ended up getting this ratio here. And of course, ended up getting a ton more of the supply. So pretty cool. Now, that's the way you want to play it. If you're in that, you don't have to do $1,000 inclusive. You can just do $200 or whatever it is, and you can get that 90% bonus today, and you already start winning, right? So that's the play. You won't have to be patient. We're going to obviously have the Signum Oracle coming up, hopefully this week. That's what we're expecting. I'm going to have an interview there. And then after that, if it runs as expected, then Jacob will give updated plans about PUSD ALGO, and we'll get him back on to talk about this. But at the heart of PUSD ALGO is that it's full DeFi solution. It has these stability miners that keep the UPSD pegged. Now, it's going to be a double supported protocol, because PUSD ALGO is going to be paired with USDL, the liquidity fork. So it's going to have all the stability mechanisms of liquidity as well through the USDL stablecoin. So PUSD ALGO is going to have that, but full DeFi as well. And it's going to be pegged. Now, one of the things it did when it was on testnet about a year ago, it was actually making money just on the stablecoin. It was pretty crazy. And our people was getting big. So it seemed to work like a charm. And so it makes me very bullish about this protocol. Now, I do have a whole ton of videos on the channel. You can check those out. Just type in PUSD ALGO, and you can see all the interviews that I had with with Jacob about a year ago. Most of that will still be holding true. We're expecting some changes moving forward. That's why we're going to get updated plans after the Oracle runs, and I'll get Jacob back on the show and we'll talk about that. So very excited about this. I think it's a big protocol coming to Pulsechain. So we've got the big Oracle protocol coming, Signum, and then we're going to potentially have the third stablecoin that we need, third type of stablecoin, which solves the stablecoin trilemma, the scalability, PUSD algo. It's going to be pretty fun to see it play out. So yeah, I'm excited about it. All right, so that's pretty much it for the show. 1 hour on the live stream, not bad. Pretty awesome timing. We covered the future of TitanX. Looks pretty exciting. Definitely buying low at the moment. It's like brilliant. You couldn't ask for better. Timing is everything. And then, of course, we talked about crypto and Pulsechain market updates. Now, we are waiting for the SEC court case hearing. We obviously got a new administration for the SEC. That's also playing into it. So we'll see where it all lands for Pulsechain. And, of course, all the pumpamentals that Richard Hart potentially can maneuver as well. We've already seen a couple of his cards laid out on the deck there with pump tires and, of course, with the INC 20X cutback. So lots of cool things. Meanwhile, all the Pulsechain devs still doing their thing, still trying to build out value, and we're looking forward to things like PUSD algo and Mafia and all things, games like that coming to market and going towards launch. So it's going to be fun to see that. All right, I think that's about it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share the bell. If you leave your comments, I will respond to those. Join up to a Discord, $5 a month for Pulsechain. Hex Discord is a private Discord. If you want to join Strategy Club, that's $35 a month, and we're constantly putting intel into that group. So it's a really good group there, especially if you're busy. And of course, if you want to get into PUSD algo, 90% bonus in the video description link there. All right, so I think that's it for the day. Enjoy yourself, and stay classy, San Diego. Is that the one? Stay classy, San Diego. All right, I'll catch you in Discord. Bye for now. Take care.